For with that farmfrau's foul flair for that flayfell fox-feater, the calamites calamitas calling for calamitous calamitans, who that scrutinizing marvels at those indignant whip-loop lashes, those so prudently bolted or blocked rounds, the touching reminiscence of an incompleted trail or dropped final, a round thousand whirligig glorioles, prefaced by, alas, now illegible airy plume flights, all tiberiously ambi-embellishing the initial...
What's the matter? Who is it? Hi, it's already after 4 p.m. on Saturday, and so my intentions to vlog the weekend are already not doing a great job. But we had a very lazy day. I read a little bit. I was reading The Friend by Sigrid Nunez. I'm about to get in the bath now. Nate and the kids went to go play some Pokemon, and then they're gonna go pick up a frozen pizza. I think it's raining already. It rained the whole time we were at Owen's baseball games, doubleheader. They we're not able to finish the second game, so that'll be resumed whenever we face this team again. So I'm reading The Friend by Sigrid Nunez. I don't know. I'm only like 30 pages in. I have to give it some more time. But I might want to return to this one. I'm about halfway through, and then it got put into a bag and I forgot about it, which I think is okay because it's a plotless book. But it's also relaxing, so this might be my bath time read. So I'm gonna go decide between the two of those and enjoy the house to myself. Okay, so this is a book about grief, in which a woman takes custody of her deceased friend's Great Dane. I'm on page 38, just finished the first part, no chapters, just parts, in which she's basically laying out the history of her friendship. It's written in the second person. She's writing to her deceased friend. And she's kind of giving like a history of their relationship, a history of his relationships with his 3 wives and various girlfriends, and that I'm not loving. I want to get to the dog. This has been on my shelf for a while because it is so popular. It won the National Book Award. I have only ever heard it talked about positively. So I found this copy at a Friends of the Library book sale. It was a fill a bag for $10, so no brainer. I brought this home. I love the cover. And I love dogs. I think it's a complicated statement for me. I think I love dogs. I love the concept of dogs. Turns out I don't love the work that comes with dogs. So anyway, I picked this up because April is the month that we got Daisy in. So it's her birthday, April 14th. So coming up, it's going to be our first one without her. So I wanted to read dog books in April in honor of Daisy. There's a complicated, like, grief relief situation I'm going through. I do miss her. And so, yes, I wanted to read dog books to process the effect she's had on us. And, you know, we loved her. She was our baby girl. Oliver was 1.5 years, or Now, Oliver had just turned 2. Owen was 6 months old when we got her. So, I mean, she was, as long as I've been a mother almost, I was her mother. Um, so, yeah, so I just got kind of emotional because the dog has been introduced to the story where the third wife of the deceased friend has suggested that the narrator take the dog. She doesn't know what to do with it. She doesn't like the dog. She doesn't want the dog. She didn't want him to have the dog. And the dog is grieving his loss and howling. So she needs this dog rehomed. And the narrator is thinking about other stories about dogs who displayed grief. Hachiko, the Akita in Tokyo, who would go to the train station every day for years, and they put up a statue. I feel like that's a movie. I feel like there was a movie made out of that very popular story. And Fido, a dog from Italy who waited every day for 14 years for his dead master, and a Skye Terrier in Scotland who spent every night for 14 years on the grave of his master, right? So I'm here getting emotional on the subject of dogs and grief. I teared up, I'm not gonna lie. And then she says, it's interesting that people have always taken such behavior as examples of extreme loyalty rather than extreme stupidity. Or some other mental defect. I myself doubt reports from China of a certain dog said to have drowned itself out of bereavement. But stories like these are one of the main reasons I have always preferred cats. Like, okay, so obviously I know the plot of this, the point of this book is that she does take the dog and grieves with the dog or heals with the dog. I'm not exactly sure where this is going to go, but I know the dog is a huge part of the story, and her relationship with the dog is going to be the main part of this book. But it just threw me for a loop. Like, I'm sitting here getting emotional reading her, talk about these famous stories about a dog's love for its owner, and then she's like, I think that's stupid and I prefer cats. So I was just like, wait a minute, what the heck?
Hold the button.
Come on. So I've made it about to the halfway point of The Friend, and I still don't know how I'm feeling about it. I think I expected more. I expected it to be more of an emotional gut punch. I mentioned starting it that instead of chapters there are parts, and that makes sense because each part seems to focus on a different theme. And so far, the parts seem to alternate as to whether or not that theme includes the dog. And I'm only in it for the dog. I did this morning read, I think it was part 5. That was hard to read because
that part was about, being basically like the god to your pet, and pets getting sick and not being able to tell you what they're feeling, and like you're supposed to make it better. And the author talks about putting down pets and her different experiences in saying goodbye to pets. And so that brought up a lot. So this may not have been the book to read for like healing. However, it might be kind of cathartic because it's hitting the 2 points that I struggle with. Like, I love my dog. Pet ownership comes with a lot of stresses. So yeah, those are my midway thoughts. So in addition to like the difficulty of like the emotional baggage that comes with having and losing pets, other subjects that don't have to do with the dog, there's a lot of suicide mentioned. Lots of examples of suicides and suicidal ideations. And the narrator works in a women's shelter running a writing workshop. And so there's a lot of sexual violence discussed. So there's a lot of heavy topics that I probably wasn't prepared for. It's been a while since this book was buzzy and very much talked about, so I don't know if I just forgot people mentioning heavier subjects or people just didn't. And yeah, jury's kind of still out how I feel. Like I like it enough to keep reading. Hi. Okay, so it's Monday now. I'm gonna be that weirdo who films in public, but really quickly, I took a ride out to pick up some holes at the library, return a few books, a lot of DNFs. I guess I could just be happy that I'm contributing to the library gaining access to funds by checking things out. Whether or not I read them is nobody's business. But let me show you what I got. The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This is my book club pick for the month. James Patterson. This is the Next in the Alex Cross series that Nate is reading. Not me. No thank you on the Jimmy Pat. Under the Eye of Big Bird by Hiromi Kawakami. There's a letter under that sticker. This is shortlisted for the International Booker Prize. And lastly, Pale Shadows by Dominique Fortier, I assume is how to say that. This is shortlisted for the Carol Shields Prize. I'll also take a minute really quick to wrap up this book, The Friend. I finished this morning. I'm landing on a 3-star rating for it. Parts with the dog I loved. I sobbed. Just because it really rang true to how I'm feeling, or the time leading up to losing my dog, and then the process of losing my dog, which was as expected as it was, also very sudden and shocking. And then it spoke a lot to the grief of losing a pet, while acknowledging how hard those last days with the pet were. So I really love those parts. I do think though I misunderstood. I won't say I was misled, but I think I misunderstood what this book would be about. And I think it actually spends more time exploring the grief of losing her friend than it does the bond with the dog, which I thought would be the majority of the plot. And there's also a lot of literary discussion that I was not expecting. It was a little stuffy and highbrow and gatekeepy, to be honest, so I didn't love that, but at the same time, like, could understand, and like, I see the point and the right. A lot about how everyone could be an author now, everyone can write. When everyone's a writer, no one is a writer. It was the tone. And talks about how, like, now you have access to reviews and to the reader, and everyone's a reviewer, right? So the book was written in 2018, which is before the book talk height, but Goodreads, Amazon, I think BookTube and Bookstagram probably were pretty big book blogs. So even without book talk, there was still this like new culture of readers and writers. That the book, the character and her deceased friend, in remembering him, he was a mentor of hers. He was a writing professor, and now she is a writing professor. So these are discussions they had, like, what's wrong with writing now, why they were leaving teaching. And so that discussion I really wasn't interested in. So the book, yeah, middle of the road, 3-star. What I liked a lot, and most of it I didn't really care to engage with at this time. Like, it's not why I picked up the book anyway. And also the book is just heavily about suicide. There's kids running up now, so it's gonna get really loud, and I'm gonna sign off here, but thank you for watching my mid-month book blog. There's like 4 kids that just ran up and like sat around me like I was about to do story time. No thank you. But that was kind of cute, but kind of not. Anyway, I'm gonna start this. This is about the women Emily Dickinson left behind. I loved Emily Dickinson as a kid, as weird as that sounds, and teenager. So we'll see if this inspires a quick trip up to Massachusetts to visit her house, which is on my bucket list of like, hey, I live in New England, I should do New England things. So, okay, now I will properly sign off. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.